What's up guys, Kyle with Cruising by Design, and on today's video, we are redoing the bags. Alright guys, so today we are rebagging the bag Tesla. We started this video last September. Lots of ups and downs since then. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch. We've wrapped the car from Tinybot Wrap, 2 Crave wheels, ABS Dynamics Bodykit on it. At ride height, it looks great. It is bags, goes all the way down to the ground. That's awesome, but it rides like crap, and we're gonna fix that today. So this being the wife's car, she didn't want to bag it, but I did. It's her daily. She doesn't air out all the time, but I wanted to make it look cool, so I want to bag it. Didn't want to spend a lot of money on it, so we tried this new management and airbag setup from Airlen. It looks good bagged. Anyone can make a car bag out, as you can see. Okay, so as we've already showed you, this is ride height. It doesn't look that good. We also have no clearance. As you can see, I can barely put my foot underneath here. The reason for it, it's got really tiny bags. So I'm gonna show you its max height, and everyone knows don't ride at max height. That ride sucks. But I'm gonna show you max height. As the compressor's running, you can see this is 160 PSI in these bags right now. At least that's what the management tells us. Which, that's way too overpressure. 125 is max. But you see, that's actually a respectable ride height in the rear. A little too high up front, but you can't ride that way. It's not good. Now the plan is, rip all this stuff out. We're going with Airlift 3H height sensors, because you need that with Universal. We're gonna put those beautiful Universal airbags in, so my wife can float down the road. We are going with the Universal Air Solution Series all-wheel drive Tesla Model 3 bags. We got the fronts, we got the rear set, we also have the vehicle-specific height sensor bracket. Since the Solution Series, you need to have 3H in height sensor, or AccuAir in height sensor. Let's get in. Oh wow, fancy. That's some good packaging right there. It even came with some nice instructions. What's good about these are USA made, USA company, very strongly made, and everything's welded together nice. Has a great leader hose. A lot of companies do not come with a leader hose, swivels and everything. Beautiful. Let's go and see what the rears are all about. Got our tool set, shock, and some massive bags. Alright, so some benefits here. This one, it has the shock dampening at an area you can get to it. A lot of the companies still have them sitting up top, which is a no-go, so you can get to these easily. It's got a really nice, easy grab to adjust it. Just raise the car up, adjust it up to whatever you want to. You want to go to track, you want to just daily drive it, this is good for you right there. Some massive bags in the rear. They're going to compress really far, but they also go really high, so that's a big benefit there. And you get a better spring rate out of these bags. Up in the air, got those 2 Crave wheels off, and I'm going to show you the bags before we take them all out. I'll show you them again later. Look at these tiny little bags back here. The rear bags are way smaller than these front bags. Look at those front bags. Not a bad looking bag. Double bellow, kind of hard to see maybe. There you go. These are super inflated right now. This has got scary inflation in there, trying to get this thing raised up enough, just so I don't have to put a jack underneath it. I've got like 165, 170 PSI in these bags, and it was still moving at that rate. At least that's what the management says, so we don't know how correct the management is at this point, since it doesn't really work the greatest sometimes. So definitely want to get this stuff out of here. Not safe, not a good ride height. Can't wait. Get this out of here. Shock comes out, bag comes out. Let's get this done. All right, so before I take everything apart, so far I've got all the stuff out of the frunk over there so we can get to the front suspension on the top. I've got the rear bumper off real quickly because all of our wiring and everything has been hidden back behind there. And just gonna show you the management and everything real quickly before I take it all apart so you see what it looked like before. Here is the management. It's Airlen management. It's kind of cool. It does have like glowing light. That's nice. I had to change all the fittings because they were all for metric. It does have to have a pressure sensor because that is not built in, and wiring for that, the water trap, and the tank from Universal Air already. So this is gonna look similar to what it is already. Only downfall is I used a small tank for this one right now, and we will need a lot more pressure for the Universal Airbag. So it would be beneficial to have a bigger tank for that. But yeah, so that is gonna go bye-bye, and then show you the controller and how that works. All right, so this is the controller. All right, so it has a memory function, 3 presets, 1, 2, and 3. Right now you can see we're at 160 PSI all the way around. That was before, it's after it being lifted up, so it was at like 170 PSI. Our 3 presets here are ride height, max height, aired out. And then if you go, you can hear this real quickly to go to ride height. But you saw before how long it takes to do it. You can hear that clicking in the background, quite annoying. Back and forth and back and forth. So of course without any air on it, and we're only moving down a little bit of pressure, is a lot faster. Then if you take off the memory mode, you go into 1 is front, 2 is all, and 3 is rear. So you go to 2 and you go all up or all down. It's frozen. See? It does. There it goes. That's all up or all down. Or if you go in just the fronts, you can do just the fronts up or fronts down, and it shows your pressure up there. It does have Bluetooth if you wanted to connect your Bluetooth to it. So the controller itself isn't bad. It's just the ECU management's not great. I don't like how the valves click back and forth and are very uneven. There's no calibration, so it just is what it is. So we're going to change this to the good old Airlift 3H and make that a lot easier. So next step, take everything out. And just like that, the management and everything is out. The airline management, that was easy. That was attached to the board, just a couple air lines, one connection. This is the air valve section of it. This is the electrical brain of it, with everything's disconnected there. It's kind of a mess. The controller's out. I actually had all that mounted to the back of the bumper brace. That's why that's off. The compressors, I actually have them hidden down below on the outsides. Thought that would be quieter. It's easier to install for sure, but not very quiet. Shout out to anyone that wants to do that. Make sure you use the new Vi-Airs. Are super quiet that we showed in our last video in the WRX over there. Definitely use that if you're gonna do it on the outside. Lots of vibration, makes lots of noise. So now, gotta remove those bags. I think I've probably said that like 5 times now. All right, not necessarily a how-to here. This is how you do it. 2 15mm bolts up there, 21 down here for the shock, and a 21 down here for the lower control arm to spindle. Pretty quick and easy on the rears of these things. I'm gonna bounce the other side real quick. All right, got our shock here. Let's get this bad boy out of here. And then our bag is being held in with a bolt down here. Disconnect the airline. Let's get that bolt out from below. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this airbag out and we're gonna go do a little comparison here. All right, so on the shocks, Airlen versus Universal Air. I mean, shock body is about similar. I like the thicker thread versus the thinner thread. This can get jammed up a little easier personally, but no big deal there. One thing I do like is they are making their own top mount instead of reusing the OEM top mount. I guess just reason being is I like that we don't have to swap it. It keeps in the OEM stuff with the OEM stuff. It's also harder to get in here to do the adjustment for the rear adjustment on this one, but just shocks, I mean, it makes a big difference in your ride quality, but that's just small stuff, I guess, right there. But this, look at that. Would you look at it? That's crazy stuff right there. This bag is so puny compared to this big mamma jamma right here. Look at that big mamma jamma. So, big difference. Now, I know that Universal has revised all this stuff quite a few times, and that's good. That means that they're trying to make it better. They want quality versus sitting on the ground. Okay, anyone can make something sitting on the ground. I could just cut some springs. Oh, that bullshit. But quality right here. You could tell the difference. Airlen, sorry, boss. No go. Well, I wasn't even videoing on purpose, but now you can plainly see here. I want to show, like, okay, this bag. Look at that, okay? Look at the spring rate on this damn thing. I can barely even push it down. That's how it should be. Can you press your spring down? If you take the spring out of the car, can you press it down by one hand? No, you can't. What is this meant for, a go-kart? Shit. All right, well, on to the front. Rears are easy. Fronts, still not too bad. Next. So working on the front, pretty easy here. We've got a 15 mil up here, 18 here, 21 on the bottom, then 2 12s, I believe, or 13s up top. Pretty straightforward, easy, good to go. I say that now, hopefully I don't jinx myself. sorry for my leaky air hose. If anyone has good suggestions on air fittings that don't leak, let me know, because I always have to replace these frickin' things. Okay, so our bag is out of there other than our top 3 points up above. I'm gonna go finish the other side and then we'll take out the top above. Okay, so last part of disassembly here. I don't wanna show you because this is a big one. I actually totally forgot about it when I installed it since it's been 4 or 5 months now. So this is what it looks like when it's installed up on top. Now, some people will go ahead and take out the whole upper control arm to get to these 3 bolts. And as you can see, you can get to mine because every time I do it, I Dremel these out so you can get an actual socket in there. Of course, it's gotta be a small socket, a slim socket, but I Dremel them out so you can get to them. I don't know why they don't do it from the factory, but they're too small to get to. So some people will take the whole upper control arm and whole assembly out, and that's just, to me, a waste of time and dumb, and you want to be able to access it easily, so I just take those out. But the crappy part is, this is the bag, whole bag setup from them, and I'm gonna show you the differences here and also why I had a trouble with this last time. I was pissed last time. So let's see the difference here. All right, this is fully maxed out pressure about. You know, that's usually what it should be about, pressurized all the way out. You can see I had to add this fitting and this airline. It did not come with this. It came with a compression fitting for metric airline, so I actually had to tap this out, put this fitting, put this leader hose in there, and our DOT fitting where it already comes there. Look at, and this has got a beautiful swivel to it. This is their upgraded set that they, not upgraded, their revamped set, so they added this whole setup later. It was down below before, I believe it was at an angle or something like that. So this is way nicer. Comes with a leader hose. You don't have to worry about it. It's got to put your fitting inside there to 1/4 or 3/8, whichever one you're using. The steel, look at, they've got no weld, only welded on the inside, where this is welded a lot nicer, a lot cleaner welds, a lot nicer bracket here for the sway bar comparative to there. I've actually had these break off on other brands, but this is the big one. Look at this. Why does it have nuts and bolts? Why does it have nuts and bolts? Because the original ones stripped out. So the original ones, while installing it, it stripped out the stud and the stud ripped right out of it. I had to find nuts and bolts while in the middle of this trying to rush for getting the car back, put these nuts and bolts in. They're a pain in the ass to install. It should have studs. These studs, this plate, is way nicer. It looks like a lot bigger, better mount up top than this crappy pillow ball mount. These are locked in place for your adjustments, for your shock adjustments. This is not. You can see it's already rusting and everything up there. So, I mean, you could just tell the quality of how these things are made. This is made to last. It's not made to be swapped out in 6 months or a year. These are meant to last. I know Zach, one of the owners over there, on his Teslas had them on there, I think 5 years on his bags, 5 years, and drives it daily, or at least somewhere close to it. I think it was at least 3 to 5, so I might be wrong, but I know it's at least 3 years, and drives it daily on these things. Badass. So can't wait to get these installed. It's gonna make my wife's life easier. Happy wife, happy life. It's true. So now, install time. This one needs a 3/8 NPT, so I had to use an adapter from the 1/4 inch. I'm gonna use my thread sealant. I use the Vibratite stuff. I do not like thread tape. It looks bad. It only works if you do it right. And don't use Loctite, unless it's pneumatic Loctite. Put about 2 rings around that, and let's put this bad boy in there. Now, this is the hard part. Holding the bag down to do that. Where's my wrench? I lost my wrench. Okay, so goes there. Got our beautiful plate, goes back on top. This bad boy. Just gotta get it lined back up. All right, then you make sure that your airline still fits in there, everything moves, and you're good to go. And then on the front, we're using our DOT straight fitting, straight on here like that. I'm good to go. I'm gonna do these and then finish install. There we go, ready for install. All right, it is the following day and an update here of what we got going on. I've done a lot of work. This isn't a how-to, so we're just gonna jump through it a little bit. All the airlines have been ran back in the trunk. All the wiring is done. The actual harness, we've already ran all of our power to the back seat section. Powered it all up in here. Our controller is ran all the way through the front here, all the way up to the controller section over there. I'm gonna make a custom mount for it later. Still have to wire up our ignition wire, but that's about it for wiring. We've already ran all of our height sensor wires. So all we need left is to install the suspension and then do our height sensor brackets and test the system. I'm hoping to be done within maybe another 3 more hours. Started today around 9:30. We've got a full house over here. We can't see everybody back there, but take a little more time. And just like that, air lines are done. It does look a little bit messy back here, I guess, but this is not a show build here. This is just to make sure it works daily for the wife. Doesn't look bad, it's just clean. Maybe put a big sticker on it, makes everything better, right? So, bag time. Like a glove. That's a good one. All right, we are getting close to the finish line. We got these beautiful bags in here. They are in and finally done in the back. We got it all set up in the front. Awesome section of this is the new swivel lines. They're upgraded swivel line setup that they put in here. Makes life way easier. Got the little fitting set up in there. And we're ready to put our sensors in, the brackets, and get this thing done for the day. So next one, I'm gonna pressure test it first, and then we're gonna put our sensors in. This close. All right, so before I start, I'm gonna show you these brackets. So another awesome thing about Universal that not many other companies have is very well made vehicle specific brackets. So I don't know, you probably can't see that it's all 4 brackets here, fronts and rears. Nice, awesome powder coating right there. Comes with the hardware, everything, you mount it and go, pretty much. I mean, not DIY here, but yeah, fully nice, drilled out, hard, thick brackets. All protected, not gonna rust. They're not shit. This is good quality stuff. You are paying for quality with Universal. And you can learn it the hard way like I did. Even though I tell my customers to go get them, I did not. And my wife and I had to pay for it. So now we're gonna install these. This is the rear and this is the front. All right, so we've got the bracket I showed you just earlier. This is where it goes on the upper control arm in the rear. This has got a square hole in the front and around in the back, so you need to drill that out first. So I'll show you, I already did that on the other side. And then it does not come with the hardware to install that. I use 10mm nuts and bolts, 6mm with 10mm head. So Universal gives you the tools, but they don't give you all the hardware. Sometimes this is not for all DIYs. This should be installed by a professional. That's me, right? Yeah. So I've already drilled out the hole right there. I've got some great nuts and bolts down here, flanged bolts, and now I can install it. And like that, look at that. Now we've got one sensor done. So we had to add a little spacer down here and a spacer up top, but it is in line with the arm that it travels with. We're good to go. We've already tested it with our sensor tool. Let's make another one and get it done. So all right, we are nearing the end of this build. It is also dark outside now. I've been here all damn day, but we're almost there. So this is the front bracket. I've already done the passenger side. I'm gonna show you what it looks like before and then after. So this right here is where this bracket goes. You take out that clip, you put this one in there, and then you drill a hole in the top and mount it with a riv nut and a bolt. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like already on the other side mounted. I actually drill that clip out and then put a bolt there with a riv nut as well, because I like to overdo things. And this side is already got the sensor on it. I've got the riv nut already inside there on both those 2 bolts, and then the brackets on there, sensor. It's all super nice and strong, not gonna get messed up. Now what we gotta do is the rod to that point. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, and I'll show you as I drill it out, all that stuff. All right, so we remove the clip, like so. Put the bracket back there, a big clip in it, and insert said clip. And then kind of line this bad boy up with the upper control arm that we're gonna mount it to right here. Then we mark our hole here and take it back out, drill it, and riv nut. And we got it. Uno más. That's the extent of my Spanish. Is it big enough? That's what she said. And there we go. Riv nut tool. Okay, so we've got our arm installed up to the upper control arm, tested our limit reach on both sides, making sure everything's good for the 3H system, and now it's time to put on those 2 Crave wheels and get this thing out of the door. Hopefully the wife likes it. I got it going up and now I'm getting it going down. Damn, son, look at that monster truck mode. So happy about it. Can you see that? Look at that shit. All right, so what I did not video before was how pain in the ass this thing was to get on the lift. I had to be, I think I said 165, like 170 PSI just to try and get it barely barely above the lift arm. Barely above the lift arms. But look where it's at now. Shit, you can put a baby's head in there. Look at that thing. And I've got inches above the lift arm over there. Inches, like 3-4 fingers for sure. So, I mean, just right there, it makes my life 10 times easier. And of course, it goes all the way to ground. So we're gonna show you that just right now. So we're gonna get more video later of what it looks like. Gotta go over the kit and the wheels again and everything, but it's in the shop before it leaves tonight and goes home. It's gonna go on the ground. From serious monster truck. Does it do it for you? Monster truck to air out. Actually, look at this. Would you look at it? Look at that, it's on the ground. The rear is on the ground. We are scraping mud flap over here. All right, so that's gonna do it for tonight. We're gonna clean up. Gotta be back to work at 7:30 in the morning, but we're gonna do a once over in this daylight so you can see what it looks like, everything's working again. And yeah, I just can't wait to drive it. I've tested customers' cars, make sure everything's good, but I haven't really got to drive it all for a long time and see how this thing rides at ride height or max height or low ride height. Can't wait. And like that, we are 1 week later. The car is done. The major thing is it rides beautiful. It rides like it should. It rides better than it did stock almost, really. And it does what you can see now with the monster truck mode is the best part for all of us show car people. It gets you out of a bind. It doesn't, you're not scraping, not breaking lips, you're not breaking diffusers, but it also goes all the way to the ground. It does all those things. So we're about to get an alignment done on it, but the best part is my wife doesn't hate me for it anymore. And now we're gonna just do a little bit of shout outs on the companies that helped us get this far and then do some cinematics and you're out. So of course, what you can see, first thing, Tinybot wrap, beautiful, ultra matte, goldish brown, really cool, interesting color. Just really put this thing over the edge, I think. We've got the 2 Crave wheels. They had just a great design. That's why we picked to go with them in the first place. They fit the car perfectly. They make the whole scheme of this car just come all together. And lastly, Universal Air for helping me get out of a bind, getting out of the doghouse with my wife, and just being able to drive this car like a normal car and a show car at the same time. It's worth every penny. I want to thank all those guys for helping us out, make this build for my wife, and then now it's just down to the cinematics. I hope you enjoy it. Have any questions, concerns, I don't know, anything you want to yell at me, let me know, and we'll see you the next time.